Loving one's family is a fundamental aspect of human relationships, and it is an essential teaching in the Bible, particularly in the words and actions of Jesus. Jesus Christ, the Son of God, emphasized the importance of loving and caring for one's family, and his teachings on this matter are still relevant today. According to Jesus, loving one's family is not only a moral obligation but also a commandment from God. In the Bible, Jesus taught that loving one's family is a reflection of one's love for God. In Mark 12:30-31, Jesus says, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind and with all your strength. Love your neighbor as yourself." Jesus is quoting the Shema, the Jewish prayer that emphasizes the importance of loving God, and then adds that loving one's neighbor is equally important. For Jesus, loving one's family is an integral part of loving one's neighbor. His family members are often the closest neighbors. Jesus also taught that loving one's family involves putting their needs before one's own. In Luke 9:59-60, a man approaches Jesus and says, "Lord, let me first go and bury my father." Jesus responds by saying, "Let the dead bury their own dead, but you go and proclaim the kingdom of God." At first glance, Jesus' response may seem callous, but it is actually a teaching on the importance of prioritizing one's family. Jesus is not saying that family is unimportant, but rather that one's commitment to God's kingdom should take precedence over all other relationships. However, this does not mean that Jesus devalued the importance of family. In fact, Jesus often used family relationships to illustrate his teachings on love and compassion. For example, in the parable of the prodigal son, Luke 15:11-32, Jesus tells the story of a father who forgives his wayward son and welcomes him back home with open arms. This parable illustrates the unconditional love and forgiveness that family members should offer one another. Moreover, Jesus himself was deeply committed to his family. In John 19:25-27, Jesus entrusts his mother to the care of his disciple John, demonstrating his concern for her well-being. This act of love and responsibility towards his family is a model for all Christians to follow. By caring for his mother, Jesus shows that loving one's family is not only a moral obligation, but also a demonstration of one's love for God. In addition, Jesus' teachings on loving one's family are closely tied to his teachings on the kingdom of God. In the kingdom of God, all believers are part of a spiritual family, united in their love for God and for one another. Jesus taught that the spiritual family is just as important as one's biological family, and that believers should prioritize their relationships with one another. In conclusion, loving one's family is a vital aspect of Christian living, and it is a teaching that is deeply rooted in the words and actions of Jesus. By prioritizing their relationships with family members, Christians can demonstrate their love for God and their commitment to the kingdom of God. Jesus' teachings on loving one's family emphasize the importance of putting others before oneself, forgiving one another, and caring for one another's needs. As Christians, we are called to follow Jesus' example and to love our families with the same love and compassion that he showed to his own family and to all those around him. By doing so, we can build strong, loving families that reflect the values of the kingdom of God.